No. I'm worried about that.
Right.
No, come back. Oh, he wants to get out. Oh, he does not like that.
That's a good boy.
Let's try again. There's a go. It's not that scary. Frankie is freaked out. She just crawled into my lap here. I'm down here to film Tuco. I thought Frankie would be okay, but she's freaking out just as much as he is. It's okay. They don't like this. Yeah, I don't know if they like this. Frankie's in my lap. Tuco won't relax. Maybe they could get used to it, but I'm not feeling great about it. Tuco, you alright, bud? What do you think, Jack?
I know it was scary. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, first reaction, first contact with the bus while it's on, and we wanted to start it with him in here, you know, to really get the full effect, so we could really start getting used to it. I think they could get used to it, but they certainly aren't gonna like it. Love torturing animals.
I do not. I love my babies.
Yeah. So that was the first time that the dogs got acclimated to the bus while it was being turned on. We kind of thought that they would have an issue with that. It's a big, scary engine, loud noises, lots of vibrations, and they handled it maybe a little worse than we were hoping for. We knew that they'd be a little freaked out, but Tuco wanted to get out immediately, which is somewhat to be expected, but we really wanted them to be more comfortable, but it kind of helped us make a decision about what to tow behind the vehicle. We thought, we've been going back and forth for a while about whether to tow a vehicle or not, and this kind of helped us realize that we'll drive a vehicle behind the bus.
So we were on the fence about whether to do this. Made the decision easy for us, but there were some other factors in that decision. Other than the dog's comfort, that was the number one deciding factor, but there were some other factors that kind of
helped us make the choice. I mean, So there are a lot of things that we can do with the vehicle that's independent from the bus. So if Tiffany's driving behind me, she can get over a lane. If I'm trying to get into the left lane, she can get there first, sort of box people out so that I can get in.
I can use the walkie-talkies to let him know if I think somebody's in his blind spot that maybe he doesn't see.
She can kind of keep an eye on like the stuff on top of the bus, or if we have things attached or strapped down, she can sort of keep an eye on things, and if something comes loose or something starts to look a little funky on the road, she can radio me and say, hey, we need to deal with this, pull over, which is valuable by itself.
If we get to a campsite with kind of a rough road, I could let him stop and drive ahead and make sure that there's a campsite that can accommodate the bus, and let him know without, risking us getting stuck or something.
Instead of going through a long dirt road full of bumps only to find that there are no camping spots, it'll be better to be able to have a scout vehicle. So
the dogs have a lot of room in the back of the vehicle we chose. We're going to have good air conditioning in there.
It's a really, safety was a big thing. I'm protected because I've got a full seatbelt. We put in a seatbelt for Tiffany, and it's going to be great for most things, but in the event of a really major accident, it would do its job, but not as well as if she was sitting forward facing in a proper chair. And
I'll have airbags, and I just think overall it feels like the right choice.
Yeah, it did. It really does feel right. There are some drawbacks, of course, like 2 vehicles consuming fuel. That's never really good, but at the same time, the bus towing a vehicle is going to kill the bus's fuel consumption anyway. It won't be as bad as driving 2 vehicles, but it's not like, there's zero cost and then high cost. It sort of evens out a little bit at least. And
I don't really like to drive, but we're hoping to keep our driving to a minimum. We want to try to drive a maximum of like 4 hours in one day, and we don't want to be moving all the time.
Yeah, we won't be moving all the time. We're going to stay pretty much everywhere, like for 2 weeks, or really as long as we're able to, as long as we like the area, or as long as we're not trying to get from point A to point B. But even then, if we are trying to, on a road trip, and we're trying to get to a new location, specifically for that location's sake, then we're going to be driving a maximum of 3 or 4 hours a day, which really isn't that bad. But in most scenarios, we'll be driving 4 or 5 hours over the span of like 3 weeks. So when we considered all of that and the benefits of driving a vehicle behind, to us, for our needs specifically, it really outweighed the downsides. So we ended up trading in our Chevy Colorado, and we bought a 2015 Subaru Outback. And it's the first car that either of us have had with really modern amenities. So we're enjoying those. Great safety ratings. The dogs are going to be are comfortable. Good combination of off-road ability and highway and city driving balance. And so we're really pleased with it so far, and we're happy about the decision.
And because of the recent hailstorm here, we got a good deal on it.
Yeah, we got a really good deal on it too, so that was helpful. And so we decided to reward the dogs after having to put them through that, and their comfort is so important to us. We hate stressing them out, and we want this experience to offer as little stress as possible. And so in an effort to reward them for coming in and getting freaked out, we went to the creek.
So, since our channel has been growing and our Instagram has been growing, a lot of companies have been reaching out to us wanting to give us a free product in exchange for talking about their product and trying to promote their product. We want you guys to know that that's not what we want this channel to be about. But occasionally we get an offer from somebody and it's a product that we were actually looking for. For example, these are water shoes from A-Liter. And I've been looking for some of these because I love playing in creeks and stuff with Tuco, but I do not like stepping on slimy rocks, and it just grosses me out. I have a thing with water. But these have been actually really great. They fit really well. They dry pretty fast. They feel good on my foot. I didn't slip much on like the mossy rocks and stuff. I do have a few kind of minor complaints maybe. Some rocks got stuck in the treads down here, which I don't think will be too hard to get out. And then this back part kind of rubbed the back of my foot a little bit. This was the first time I had really worn them and without breaking them in or anything, and we hiked about a mile before we got to the creek. So I imagine over time that'll kind of fix itself, but I did want to mention it. Overall, I was really happy with them, and I'll definitely use them again. Another company that reached out to us was called Country Bound. And funny enough, Zach had just been, like, the week before that talking about how he wanted some, like, microfiber, quick-dry towels so that, you know, in a small space, if our towels aren't drying really well in the bathroom or something, I think we'd notice that. So we took them up on that offer. They actually didn't require any kind of review, but they said, hey, you know, we like what you're doing, we want to send you these, and if you like them, talk about them. Well, we like them. They come in 3 sizes like this. There's a little guy here, and they all each have like a little hook, which I thought was really cool. There's a medium size, and then there's a full body size. I actually think we're going to buy another pack because I really like this. I think we might use these as our main bath towels, these big ones. But we actually used these today on our hike with the dogs to dry them off before they got in the car, and the towels like never really felt wet. They're totally dry now, and that was just like an hour ago. So I'm pretty happy with them, and I would recommend. We'll put a link to that below.
So just to talk about sponsored posts real quick, something we feel very strongly about, our channel is not going to become a gear review channel. It's just not. We talk about gear because we use gear to make the life happen that we want. And we use equipment that allows us to do the things we want better, faster, easier. So we're not going to talk about stuff that we don't believe in, stuff that we don't use ourselves, stuff that doesn't make sense to use in our home, the way we do things. So every now and then when we get, you know, we're new to this whole game, you know, we're so flattered that companies would even think about contacting us to talk about their product, and we're so thankful that we're able to do that. But we turn people down. We don't need you know, a bunch of stuff that we're not going to use. So we're never going to talk about things we don't use or don't believe in, and we'll never recommend anything that we don't already use or trust. And likewise, we're not going to allow someone to pay us to say nice things about a product. When we talk about a product, it's going to be our actual thoughts. It's not going to be some marketing thing that they say, here, read that, or say these specific things. We're not going to do that. If companies send us stuff to review or talk about, it's going to be what we actually think about it every single time, hands down. So I can't stress that enough. Again, we're not going to become a gear channel, but we will talk about the stuff and say things about the things that we do use and that makes sense for us to use so that we can do the things we want. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate it, and we'll see you out there.
Bye.